Now we're recording.
All right.
Everything looks like it's rolling good. So I told you I was going to tell you how I found out about you. I found out about Sendero. I was fishing actually with my buddy Mason and Garrett, two of the most manliest men. And I had never seen, I hung around them all the time. We were fishing and we're wade fishing out there, and I noticed that Garrett's got on this blue hat that says Sendero across it. I was like, that's a freaking cool hat. I don't know why it's cool. I don't know what makes it so cool, but it was cool.
Yeah.
It was something I like. Man, I don't know if it's you, Garrett, that makes it look cool, or whether it's the hat, but that's a cool hat. I like it.
It was definitely Garrett.
Yeah. He told me he goes, oh, it's Sendero. It's this brand in Texas, and it's kind of cool, like the whole story or whatever. And so that's the way I looked it up and found you and whatnot. The Sendero stuff. I was like, man, that stuff's awesome.
Cool, man.
I actually knew about your clothing than any of the other clothing brands. I won't mention their names, the competitions, but yours is the first one that I actually saw about like that style and
cool,
all that good stuff. So kind of piqued my interest, and then I noticed you are a geologist?
Yeah, man, geologist.
Yeah. What sparked going from a geologist into making clothing?
Man, it's just such a wild story, sort of. I mean, I guess that's how anyone ends up in anything. But yeah, I started my undergrad in geology, and I ended up doing a bunch of grad school and getting most of the way through my PhD in geology here in Waco. And then my original business partner started Sendero. I was like, hey man, want to jump on and help me do this thing? I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's keep rolling. And then that was pretty much it, man. It was like they're still sort of connected, because everything that we do and we make, be it like our national park line or even our geology collection or other things, connection to the outdoors, it all kind of stems from my geology background at this point. It really drives our product and innovation and sort of what we do. So it's fun.
No, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty good. That's why the maps are underneath the bills of the hats.
Oh, yeah. So we include the topo maps on there and everything, and we've got lots of. I throw our team and our designers and everyone else tons of geology ideas every season, and I think I get like one or two of them shot back and actually happen. But I've got 40 or 50 of them that I want to do all the time. And like geology, I don't know. It's still like every time I drive by road cut or mountainscape or someplace where there's awesome rocks exposed, I'm almost like rubbernecking out the car and like telling my kids what they are. Like, it used to drive my wife nuts. Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't care about the rocks, Hunter. Stop.
That's so funny you say that, because my friend Mason, he's a geologist, and that's like he works
cool.
for an oil and gas company or whatever, and that's one thing. Our daughter always goes. He goes, he's a rocketologist.
A
rocketologist. Like, because my wife's always making fun of him, saying like, "Oh, look, Mason, that rock. Mm-hmm. What is that rock?" Like bringing him rock, like being funny.
Yeah.
So like I saw that and I was like, "Oh, look, he's a rocketologist too."
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So why didn't you go into anything in that profession with that?
Man, so I think about this a lot, and I specifically want to do my PhD because I really like the research aspect of things. And so when I started, I was doing petroleum stuff too, and I wanted to be in research programs and looking at core and rocks and going on cool field trips and depositional systems and traveling and everything. And that's really what I focused on my PhD was. It was a fieldwork heavy project. I was working out in the remote deserts of Arizona and southern Utah, out there for like three or four summers in a row.
My
man,
favorite
it was just
places.
Oh, it was beautiful out there in the all badlands topography, just painted desert type stuff. Digging holes and collecting rock samples and measuring and describing and sweating and everything else that comes with that. And there's just wild stories from fieldwork all the time, but I really loved that aspect of it. And then kind of when Sendero came along, it was like, oh, I could combine that and be creative and do everything that I like doing in the outdoors. So it was like I got the best of three worlds all at once. Kind of want to be my own boss. Two, expand everything that I like to do in a creative sense, was create and make cool projects and ideas and campaigns and all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, Sendero is just a huge sandbox, really. And at the same time, like, we're outdoors a lot, doing all kinds of cool stuff, traveling, fly fishing, which is one of my big passions, and it gave the opportunity to do a lot of that. And in hindsight, it's like everything. I've spent as much time in front of a screen as I as I used to, anyways. But when we play hard.
Yeah, it looks like it. Like especially now, like with the things you have. I've watched all the camping trips.
Yeah.
Like where was the first one? Colorado? You went fly fishing up there? Where was it you go fly fishing?
Yeah. That
Colorado,
John's
right?
in Colorado.
And then didn't you do one in Big Bend?
Yeah, he went down and did Big Bend State Park.
Yeah.
Did the loop down there. And then he did they called a Quincy. So they went out and did backpacking and built their own Quincy style igloo, and they've slept in those for 2 or 3 days. And John, our director of photography, shout out John Dale. He's one of those guys. It's like he's so into adventure and climbing and backpacking and the gear and the technical side of it. He's out there doing it all. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go fishing in my jeans. And they're like, what are you doing out here wearing this? I don't know. It's comfy. Like, you're the dude that paddleboards in his socks, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to wear chacos on the river and get rocks in my shoes. I'm going to wear my dirty tennis shoes, and I'm going to put socks on them because I don't want rocks getting in them. It's functional.
Yeah, functional. It's all about functional. That's awesome. So you didn't did you go on those trips with him?
No, those were John. Those were John doing
John.
that. But we've done, I just did a big California golden trout trip with one of our. That was me on that one. Yeah. With one of our pioneers, Cameron Cushman. He's a cool guy. Fly fisher, videographer based out of Florida. And we were out there for almost a week. We hit 5, 6, 7 different native species of trout out there. Most of them fit in your palm of your hand.
Yeah, but they're very unique.
And the terrain and the landscape that we're in was just amazing. We're down in the eastern Sierra Desert, and then you kind of go up into the mountains. Literally, like in your backyard, you just go straight up, and then you're in high alpine lakes and rivers and catching golden trout out of pristine pools. Yeah, that was awesome. So we do things. We try to, at least.
You try things.
If anyone has any more things that they want us to come do, give me a shout out, and maybe we'll go do some things.
That's awesome. Well, you have the van too. You got the van where you play music concerts in that I've seen. Like the promotion just got ramped up. Mm-hmm. And I know we talked a little bit before the podcast. When I started following you, y'all were it was pretty generic the way the Instagram posts were and your promotions were, and I just liked the clothing. Mm-hmm. It was cool. There was very little personality behind the advertising to it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it went quiet.
Yep.
And a lot of people, I saw the comments underneath, everybody is just going bonkers. Mm-hmm. Red-faced mad bonkers. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere it comes back, but with personality and character, and looks like it's better than ever.
Yeah, cool, man.
I don't know what I don't know if you want to share what happened in that in between time, because I'm interested in all those sorts of things, the struggles, the ups and downs, and all that of.
And that's a lot of. I kind of have a huge passion for this right now, especially in the small business sense, and in the terms of pulling the veil back from someone that has gone through ups and downs in small businesses. You're a small business, you're going to experience ups and downs. Everyone is. And if you have to be able to weather the downs to be able to get to the ups. And so that's what we had. Maybe when was that? I guess early or late summer in 2018 through kind of November 2018. My original business partner and I, we had basically a business partner dispute. We brought on a bunch of investors, and then we kind of from there found out certain things, and then it wasn't going to work between us at that point in time. And really when we started Sendero, it was just, hey, it's you and I, and nothing's ever going to be wrong. We're going to conquer the world together, kind of thing. You don't ever think about we need to have exit strategies in our contract agreement, or partnership, how we handle splits, how we handle this stuff, how this stuff works, voting rights and checks and balances, that kind of stuff. And no one ever wants to think about that when you start a business, because it's all cool and fun and exciting, and then maybe you don't have time to, but that's just really, really important.
Very much so.
From
firsthand experience on that.
Yeah, too. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's I can't even understate it enough that if you don't have that stuff in place, and then you kind of find yourself in one of these situations, it's like, we could have protected ourselves from all of this, and we didn't, and now it's just going to be a big mess. So basically, we had, business is it's like a marriage, and we had a divorce pretty much, and it was hard, and that was obvious through social media, and we're finishing a Kickstarter at the time, and Kickstarter orders weren't shipping, so from pretty much August to November, we were just dark, and like the whole thing was shut down, and we were battling behind the scenes on trying to get going again. Unfortunately, we have a really awesome core group of people here, employees at the time. John Dale, Cameron Frymark, and our investors were awesome at the time too. Couldn't have done any of that without them. And me and John, John's from Colorado, and he came down. I think he slept on my couch for like a month and a half straight, like us just trying to get game plans and stuff going to figure it out again when we got back up and running. And we literally had like a war room set up in my like living room with just like screens and monitors and cameras and equipment and gear, and like we're just like customer service, PR, product development, everything. And it was wild. My wife, like, she sent us a picture of both him and I. Something on her Facebook time hop came up. She's like, this is you guys, after like your third all-nighter, and we're just sitting there just dead at the table. And like, it was like the 3 days after we got the company back up and going, and like you said, we hit it as hard and fast as we could. And we were very fortunate that that didn't end up being any bigger than it could have been. But at the same time, is we had core pieces in place to be able to handle something like that, being awesome employees in here, and a community that really cared about Sendero. So we had a lot of people kind of rally to the cause. And then after that, it was like the gloves were off. Gloves were off as far as like what we wanted to do, creativity. It was, we could, at that point, recreate Sendero in any way and fashion that we wanted to. And us being, you've seen our Sendero sessions, or the van videos and everything else. Like, we're just big idiots.
Yeah, goofballs.
Goofballs. And there's a plethora of internet brands out there. I mean, anyone can find something cool and unique on the internet that might be set them apart from like a Patagonia or something like that. And that's kind of what people are into these days. I want to find something they can connect to and attach to. And so we're like, what a better way to do this than just to interject ourselves into the brand. And so like now John, me, Cam, Chris Kaler, our director of fun, who's actually one of the head soccer coaches at Midway.
He doesn't that name.
He doesn't even work here.
He doesn't?
No, not at all.
That whole thing where he's like, I got big news. I'm the director of fun.
Not temporary anymore, dude. He's so much fun. And it's like, but things like that is just like, we have like a family of Sendero people. They're in and around here all the time. They might not be part of the business, but now their faces are all over our stuff, and people know their name. I guess all the time is like, hey, when Chris start working for y'all? I'm like, he doesn't. he's just good on video.
That's so hilarious. He doesn't even work here.
No, man, doesn't even work here.
That whole video where he's on the phone and you're standing in the corner under like.
Got big ideas. It's like, my last video got 4 million views.
I don't think that's right.
Nah, that's completely false.
If anybody hasn't seen the video, now knowing that, go back and watch the video.
We have this. Like I said, we just start way too many projects than we have time for, which is fun, but we juggle a lot of stuff. We wanted to start doing these like old ESPN style commercials with like athletes interacting with the office with Chris. Like, and we've got a couple of them already done. Like he's making us do stuff around the office. Like, hey man, it's time to go do fun stuff. And then he's in our Sendero session videos and everything else. But yeah, anyways, so back to that's how we came back, man. It was like, let's be a brand that familiar faces where people like know who to expect, know what to expect, and really interject our personalities and our souls into this company.
You feel like that they're a part of it.
Like
they know you. Like they feel like they know the brand, and it's more about the brand that like. Yeah, your hats are super cool, obviously. Like that's a cool style. Like nobody does Big Bend hats and the specific like national park hats and then the cool logos. Like nobody does that. I haven't really seen that kind of stuff with style. I guess you want to say. But outside of that, it's just a hat. It's just a shirt.
Yeah.
What really does it, and that's why like people like Yeti are so good.
Yeah.
Because they have the little documentaries. It's not even about their ice chest or the cup. It's the personality behind the people that are doing those things that make it so like sellable.
Yeah. Marketing through content it's huge right now in our industry, and storytelling and everything else. And we're fortunate enough to have some good content creators and storytellers and creative folks to do stuff. Whether or not it might flop and fail and look really stupid, we'll do another one and it'll be all right.
You got to try, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but like being yourself is really important. I think that like bleeds through.
Yeah, cool, man.
Like being like authentic to who you are. You're not trying to copy anybody else. You're just being you guys.
No, yeah. Yeah, and that's really too, going back to geology, is, we sort of have this bedrock foundation of, geology in the Southwest, Arizona, Utah, Texas. That's kind of what drives our core brand imagery. And everything else just kind of falls into place beyond that. So
did people just like jump right back on board?
Oh yeah, it was immediate.
Like customers, everything.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, you're back. Sweet.
Yeah, we did some like pretty hardcore PR campaigns, like Sendero Act 2, and like we're in this for you guys and for us too, and our families and our community and everything else. At the time, I think we had like 400, 500, 600 open orders that like people had paid for that weren't getting their stuff because the website was still open, and like we didn't have access to any of it at the time. People were just buying stuff. And
did your partner have access?
Yeah, it was it was weird. It was like, we were pretty much shut out of everything for 3 months, and we had plans and processes to fix it, and it could have all been avoided, but that's just that's how that stuff rolls.
Well, egos get involved. People get in disagreements.
Like, that
happens.
Yeah.
When you talked about having plans in place, like exit strategies in place, it sounds funny, but like and when you go into business, you think you're friends for life. But differences of opinion when the business changes and moves, when ideas are different and the business is going two different paths, you're butting heads with somebody you're 50-50 with, that can be a crazy struggle and issue. It's who gives in, who doesn't. You both care about the business equally. Yeah. So it's like, now you're having like a little civil war.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened, along with, a lot of other things. But those are all filed in the Waco Civil Court if anyone wants to go see them. But oh man, that's my only trick for that. I was just like, can't really talk about it. I can, but it's like,
you don't want to. Yeah,
you can go look it up. Because honestly, I've got had mild PTSD from it. And it's all gone now, and I don't want it to come back. So I start twitching, like, oh god, not again.
Don't say that. Like I said, the good thing is we can edit anything.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah, edit my PTSD twitches out. Hunter's over here skitzing.
But after that struggle, you got to have like crazy stress because you didn't get a job in between there, so you don't have any control, right?
Yeah.
So you're just. So did you have him come down and plan things before you knew you were going to have control over the business?
So we pretty much, the whole time this was going on, we were working around the clock on our plan for getting it back, like what we were going to do. And I think that really, because like literally the day we got it back, we launched videos. Because we already had them made and done.
So you made them while you were away?
Yeah, we made them while all this stuff was going on.
Is it hard to be like chipper and happy?
Yeah,
in your videos
kind of. That's kind of with anything. Like sometimes when we do these Sendero sessions stuff too, I'm just like dog tired. I'm like, hey, this sounds so much fun. Like, I really don't want to do it. And then you're like, hey, personality, here I am. I gotta fake it till you make it kind of thing. But sort of with a small business, it's like, in my opinion, the small business owners that just refuse to quit, don't take failure as an option. You'll always find a way to fix it. Things are always going to work out if you try hard enough. Those are the small businesses that make it, or most of them, I would say. It takes a certain amount of that to get into small business. You have to have that mindset a little bit just to take that first leap. But none of us have ever really thought that things were going to work out, and there's been horrible things since then, kind of as a result of a lot of the stuff that's happening then. Most of it's in the past, but stuff comes up once every few months now, and it's like, oh man, here's this meteor, how are we going to deal with it? And no one just ever thinks that we can't. It's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be fine. And it's been that way so far. So.
You've already been through one of the toughest things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't think of anything more tough on a business than to have something active, people ordering, and you're not shipping their money or returning their money.
Oh, man.
It's sitting there like, I can see why people were so mad.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, on the surface level, it was, at the time, it was like theft. It was like no intention to send it, no funds to ship anything. Nothing was happening. So it was like, store was open, money was getting taken, money wasn't going out to people. Same thing with the Kickstarter. And Kickstarter kind of comes with its own, like, risks. So, like, inherently you have to, by backing a Kickstarter, you fully realize that might not happen. You might just lose, you might not get your Kickstarter in because it's a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But anyways, people were really pissed off about that. And we had so many emails, and people were like sending us letters. And some of the stuff, like, I don't know the people that send these things, but I wouldn't have time to sit around and do this. But we got some that was like, this dude drew a picture of him with no hat on, and he was like, "This is me. I'm sad. I don't have a hat." And then like
that's probably really funny.
And then the next pane, he had a hat on. I was like, "This is me wearing my hat. I'm happy. You see how that works? Ship me my hat." It was wild, man. Wild. Now like I'm getting messages too on like my personal Instagram. My wife's getting messages like, "Ship me my jacket," whatever else, and it's like these huge like.
And you couldn't say anything because you're in the middle of this dispute,
Kinda,
so you
yeah.
can't be like, "Hey, man, I don't have control over that."
Yeah, a couple times it's just like broke down, and it's just like, "Look, dude, like I'm trying everything I can. Like, give me like a month here, and if you don't hear from me, then like I'll pay for you. Like, I'll give you some of your money back personally." And I was actually paying some more contractors personally out of pocket at the time, just to like keep stuff going. It was just like mountains of bills, mountains of unpaid contractors and vendors and products and everything else, and. It was literally, I mean, it was without a doubt the hardest thing I've ever done. And I would not wish that on anyone. So if everyone listening out there, go get you a good contract, good agreement, company agreement, and stick to it.
Yeah.
I guess you have to once it's signed, but
yeah,
protect yourselves. But, that's all really behind us now.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of good things come from some sort of like, I always say, like some sort of struggle.
Yeah.
One, you don't appreciate. You appreciate stuff even more. Mm-hmm. But even more than that, like I had the Donut Darling on. The lady she comes up here to Waco all the time, the silos or whatever,
cool.
to do stuff. And I mean, her whole van was actually supposed to be crepes, her whole little trailer, crepes, and this whole issue. But then the guy inspecting the trailer, the health department, blew it like. Destroyed everything by setting off the alarm. All of her equipment. She had no money, and she had a show. She had an event to do the next day, and it turned into donut holes with a scooper, the dough, and a little fryer that she bought at Walmart. As she was walking around, crying like, "What am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
And now that's the hit. That was the ticket. Like that's
Made
what
it
she
work.
is. So sometimes through that struggle, you can find like your path. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I feel like. You guys went through that struggle and you were prepared, obviously, and working for it. But then now you have all these different things and ideas, and everything's flowing better than ever.
Yeah, they don't teach any of this in geology school. That's for sure.
like how to figure this situation out.
Yeah. How do I do X? I have done that on Google countless times. And I built a business by Googling.
Hey, it's a wonderful resource.
Oh yeah,
it
great.
really is. Like people like my grandpa and them, they owned the food service that they had down in the valley. Like there was no Google, there was no internet.
Yeah.
It was basically you had to know, you had to figure out by trial and error, and you had to like make the right decisions.
Oh yeah,
so on and so forth. So
I was listening to the founder of Outdoor Voices on a podcast, and she was kind of talking the same way. It was like. He was asking, "So how'd you start?" And she's like, "I just typed it in Google. Like, where do I find this type of fabric?" And then she found where it was and went and met all these people at Outdoor Retailer and did her thing. So, yeah, I've literally done that same thing.
That's so. I'm fascinated by that. Like you just you see it and you make it happen. I guess so. From there, you've just got the van. Like, how long has it been since then? You said November of 18?
It's been just a year and a few months now. So, yeah.
Nice.
I know the exact date, but I'm not gonna say
That's
that.
fine. But I mean, obviously everything's better now.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, we work hard and we work a lot, but it's the stuff that we can do and we get to do. It's pretty much just like we dream up something stupid or fun or exciting or cool or creative, and we do it. It's like the whole music videos in our van in here. That was like, how can we connect with people beyond just a product company? What kind of cool stuff can we make that people are into right now? Like, let's got this van, and like we know tons of musicians, and we like talking to ourselves. So let's sit there and talk to musicians while they play music.
I was about to ask you, do you just randomly ask the people, like, hey, I'm with Sendero, like, you want to come play in the van for a little promo video?
Yeah, kind of. So like the first people were friends. Thomas Chorba, local guy here in town, he's doing big stuff. He's getting big and he's awesome. Dylan Washington, local guy here in town, just dropped an awesome album. And then from there, we kind of made those and got them out there. Dylan's is probably launching this week. And through Sendero, we've gotten to know other artists and people that are fans of ours and bands and stuff. And we've got people now that are like, hey, I want to come. This is like the date I can come do it. And even there, it's own thing. There's like people's managers are following Sendero sessions. They're like, hey, can my guy come? Whatever. And we're like, yeah, sure, send him up.
That's awesome. So people will start to reach out to you like, hey, can we come up and play in the van?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, eventually what I want to have is, the goal is that we grow at a certain point to where there's someone that can manage those kinds of special projects, like the Sendero sessions, and then the cooking show I told you about before we started recording. And all these just kind of cool things we've got going on. But yeah, right now they're growing a line for their own, which is fun.
Well, what gave you the idea to do something so like the national park hats, then like the specific clothing? Because like this is why I say that, because when I looked at that, I'm like, oh man, I want to go do Devil's River now, just so I can get the hat, but I can't get the hat until I've been to the Devil's River.
Yeah,
like I can't and floated it. And that's the way with all of the different hats. I scrolled through and actually looked for the places I had been. So it was an interesting idea, I thought.
Yeah, so that all started was the hats in Big Bend really sucked. It was like, we can do a better Big Bend hat than this.
Big Bend's awesome, too.
Big Bend's
such a great place.
One of my favorite places in the entire world. It's like Mars. But yeah, that's how that started. And we started doing that like 2 years, I think, before the National Park Centennial. Then we came out with a couple other National Park hats, and then the Centennial was sort of bad timing on our part, sort of, because we didn't really know it was coming up a little bit. But with the Centennial, 4 or 5 other brands popped up like instantly that started doing like all the national parks, and they were all over all the time. But now they're huge, and those are all like people that came from other big companies that knew how to do this stuff. Like came from big apparel companies, the biggest ones you can think of.
Yeah.
And they're crushing it right now. And here these 2 geologists are, trying to make hats with maps under the bills and trying to, what is Instagram, Google, that kind of thing. But
the market.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How do website? Yeah. But yeah, and then that's how that started. And was like, let's push this beyond national parks. National parks are cool, but like, we're river junkies, huge river junkies, mountain junkies. Let's do different rivers and mountain ranges. I've never seen that on anything. And then we have all these other ideas in our heads too, is like for these specific things or places or locations that people associate with and have fond memories of. Not just because that consumerism, people buy that stuff, but because we get to make this creative outlet to express what people like to do, which is fun. Like your buddy wearing a Sendero hat on the river. Like I love hearing when people see or meet or encounter our stuff for the first time, like out doing something like that, which is kind of why we do it. But
yeah, well, I mean, there's that, and then I guess you seem to go towards or gravitate towards everything in the like North Pacific West type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like everything from here over that way, and nothing on like, you don't really go like Appalachian Trail, the east side.
Yeah.
Is that because you're drawn that direction?
So that's how it started. This past spring, we actually expanded into East Coast stuff. So we've got like Acadia and Everglades and Smokies. But that's like kind of the core of who we were at the time was kind of infatuated with this Western culture of, this all the adventure, the promise that the Wild West holds, and the lore and legend behind all that. Doing geology field work out in Four Corners, big fly fishers. You can fly fish on the East Coast, but
it's not the same.
It's not, in my opinion.
It's a little different atmosphere and feeling to the mountains in the West. Like there is just a big difference, almost like a different world.
Yeah. Pool hopping in the Smokies seems like one of the coolest things ever. Chasing brookies around, but catching an 8-inch golden trout out of a 14,000-foot mountain almost, is like that's no comparison.
No, there is, and see, I grew up on the Texas coast down South Padre Island, and wade fishing. Never did any freshwater fishing at all. Fly fish down there, and then decided I was going to go fish in Colorado. Like a river runs through it.
Yeah.
I've told that story before on the podcast several times because it's like a big moment. Like I got in a van, slept in it, spent a week and a half just zigzagging with a 8-weight rod, 10-weight rod. That's what I had, trying to catch little rainbow trout out of there with my saltwater fly fishing gear.
I was about to say that's a wrong rod.
It was like sitting there with a surf rod trying to catch it with salmon or something with it.
That's awesome.
Because I just took off and went. I went and did it. It was really funny. I had to go buy a bunch of stuff at Walmart, like a little cheap rod and stuff. I finally caught some fish.
Sweet.
Like, why can't I get them on the line and I can't, and then I can see them and they just like look at it and go by. Like, what is the deal here?
Yeah.
This line so thick they can see it. Like, that's like a piece of rope.
Yeah, right.
But there's nothing like just hiking out there, whether you're catching fish or not, and being in the middle of the river, like, where there's nobody around.
Something about rivers, man. Rivers here, rivers out there, rivers anywhere. The Devil's River, golly, the Middle Bosque here in Waco is my favorite place in the whole world. Just being in a river on your own with a couple buddies, but like really, really tuned in and just hanging out. It's one of the best things ever.
There's nothing like, it's kind of like being in the middle of a surfboard or a kayak in the ocean.
Like,
there's no, you don't just get to pull out your phone. Like when you're out there, you're out there.
Oh yeah.
And you're just in tune with whatever's around you.
Yep.
At that particular moment. So there's something like relaxing or freeing about that.
God, it makes me want to go right now.
Let's book a trip, man.
Hey, man, let's go.
You're a business owner. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, tell my wife that. I'm a business owner, but I have a boss.
Yeah.
She's a great boss, but I have a boss.
Well, people used to tell us that all the time, like, man, you guys got the life. Like, you're business owner, you're rich, you're this, you're that. It's like, I don't think you really understand the way this works.
Oh, man.
Like, you're here all the time, you're working all the time, like, you're doing stuff. Before the invention of cell phones, it was even more so like, just, you're there all the time. You know? I remember seeing my dad and grandpa doing all that stuff. And then cell phones came out, and it was like this magical thing that let us see our dad so much more. You know?
FaceTime is crazy.
Yeah. Now it's FaceTime. Now it's all these other things that they have. So
you're basically there.
And you can run everything from just like, you can run this like gigantic things from an office now with just over video. Like you can have a meeting, doop, done. Bam.
Yeah, seriously. Every program that I use for Sendero, I've got an app and I can do it all on my phone, kind of wherever I'm at. So I used to, like, no joke, I used to have like marketing meetings on my paddleboard, fly fishing on the Bosque. I'd be like in touch with or like having meetings with our marketing agency in California that we used at the time.
Really?
And they're like, you sound like you're on a river. I'm like, I am. I'm sitting right in the middle of the river right now. I'm fishing while you're on speakerphone.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's the best meeting ever.
Oh yeah. I don't remember. Someone was with me. It might have been I don't know, my buddy Andrew Miller. I think he was down hanging out. We were floating on Hog Creek, just right past the warehouse here. And I was like, hey man, I got a meeting. Duck off for an hour and just float down the river. Yeah, cool stuff.
That man. So what's the future hold for a Sendero? Like,
man,
where are you going with this? Like, where are you taking? You have big goals, or you just like kind of letting it go where it wants to go?
Man, we've got as big a dreams as you could dream, really. And sometimes it's a problem. We have to kind of wrangle ourselves back in. It's like, no, you can't conquer the world next week, guys. Let's take it one step at a time. Which is why we have our current CPA. He's really good at
telling you not to do that.
Yeah. It's like, let's do the stuff that works first, and then you guys can do fun things, which is nice. Because before I was just like, do whatever you want. But yeah, so right now is a really fun time for us because we kind of got through 2018. 2019 was a big kind of rebuilding year and kind of rebranding ourselves and building the Sendero, the base of the Sendero that we want. So we've put a ton of effort into our spring launch coming up this late this February, early this March. So that's really what's next for us, is focusing on that. But then beyond that, we're already looking into, most of it's already done. We want to be a full 30, 40 piece, full bottom to top apparel company. And then beyond that, keeping our marketing and media going through, unique not non-branded content, like the music videos, the Sendero sessions, the stupid cooking show that we're working on, and all kinds of stuff like that, and like trips, and Sendero hosted trips, or like a small like trip company where you could come and like do like trips with us, or
really cool.
That kind of stuff. Like that'd be small, but like that's really where we have the most fun, is involving people in what we like doing. I'm insanely extroverted to the point where it's a problem.
The point where it's a problem.
Yeah, it's just like being around people and doing fun stuff and going like adventure junkie and doing exciting things. It's what I like to do. So,
well, is the Sendero stuff in, like, do you have places in the Pacific Northwest where like you sell your clothing all the way up through here?
Yeah, we're in. I mean, I don't know. We're like right now, probably 150 stores across the country right now, and those are scattered throughout. It's pretty even distribution all the way from Carolinas over to California. So it's been fun, and we've onboarded with some really big box companies here recently, and that stuff will all kick off next year. And that's really where we're growing the most, like in terms of business. Is we've kind of got e-commerce figured out now, and that's more or less a playbook. But we're really putting a lot of effort and structure into wholesale and retail distribution. And like I said, they don't teach that kind of stuff in geology class, but
no, you just kind of that is something that the face-to-face still has to happen.
Oh yeah,
and that's what I was gonna say. Like I was gonna ask you if you fly out there. Like, do you fly all over the place and meet with people? Do you have people that do that now? Like,
yeah. So we've got people in house to do that now for us. But in the past, that was me. I've always ran our entire wholesale and retail program. And that's just like this right now. Like that's what I like doing, sitting down with people and talking and meeting. I'll end up in a store for 3 hours, and I'll leave and not even sell them a hat. We talked about fishing for 3 hours, and so I really enjoy doing that. And that can wear you out too a little bit, but there's just so many cool places and stores and people that have their own stories, like ours or anyone's, or even cooler stories, and they all have them. And so that's really cool too. And we do a lot of like bigger shows, retail-based shows, like Outdoor Retailer is really fun, where we catch up with a lot of these people and other things too. But yeah, that's you're exactly right. I mean, that people almost demand personal interaction.
Nothing replaces it. Like us sitting across from this table right now, we could be doing this on Facebook, because it's sometimes we have to go. Like we could be doing this digitally. Like there's no way to make it to somebody's places right now for me.
And you can do that successfully.
Yeah, and it's fine. But there's something different about doing it in person.
I agree.
Like when you're sitting across the table from somebody, like get to see their expressions and feel the energy. And like you said, you love it. I love the same thing. Like I love going out and meeting people and hearing their story. Like it's just like your story and the story of Sendero. I mean, how many people don't think about the things that you could have prevented, and that story might help somebody else that's getting into business. Both partners, help people not end in like some sort of war and not be friends, or
for sure
whatever it is, that like might end way more peaceful, or it might scare them off from being in a partnership and go their own route and and figure out something on their own. So like all these different things we can learn from people, like, and perseverance through stuff. Like a lot of people be like, oh, I'm a geologist. I'm just go get a job. You know,
Yeah.
I'll just go. Did that ever cross your mind?
Oh yeah. Well, one, it was like a family, so it was like,
Yeah, I know.
What are we doing at this point in time? Fortunately, it never hit the like, like I've got a great family, and so they were right there with us, supporting us, and anything we needed at that time, they were there to help us do, which is how I hope to be for my kids. But if it had gone on another month or a month or two, it'd been like, all right, guess I'm gonna get my resume polished up.
That's close. Like that's not a lot of time left.
No, not at all. And two is like, it's like even now, I'm so close to finishing my my doctorate. This is like, everyone's like, hey, just go finish it. Like I know, I'm like, I don't have time, but I do. But it's just one of those middle blocks. It's like it's just hard to focus on. It's like this Sendero, and then that at the same time.
Like what's more enjoyable, both?
Oh man, like I had so much fun doing geology. Like if I could have been a professional grad student forever and like just taking graduate classes and do field work and help people with their field work and teach classes, teach labs. I love teaching labs, field work based labs. I'd have done that forever. But they don't pay people to do that. But I guess they hardly pay people to sell hats either. So here we are. But
how is your wife there? Like, so you said I know you got a family and 2 kids, and that's like something that puts a lot of pressure on everything. Too.
Yeah.
The unknown, not knowing the future with that stuff. I find like you have to have somebody that supports you. Like, 100%.
None of this I can say with certainty. I wouldn't have made it through any of this if my wife wasn't a fantastic person. She helped, patient, first of all, forgiving, gracious, anything that you need to list on that end of the spectrum. She had, like I said, John slept on my couch for like a month and a half while we were trying to figure stuff out. It's like, we didn't have an extra guest bedroom for him, like just sleep on the couch. Because we had Piper was, our daughter was, 6 months at the time, 5 months old at the time.
Man.
So it was
with
unique,
a pretty newborn baby.
Yeah. And it's been, she is, I feel like now, as emotionally invested in this thing as really anyone is. But yeah, even before that, like geology and she gives me a wide leash, just from fishing all the time and going doing trips, and I don't know. I've got such an adventure bug in me that if it wasn't Sendero and doing this, I'd be doing geology stuff at the same time.
Do they
finding a way to outlet the need for adventure just the same?
Do they have the same, like, does she have the same love for adventure that you do?
I don't know. That's kind of a hard question, I guess. She will go and do anything and have fun doing it. But she's not super outdoorsy or super into, hiking or backpacking or fly fishing, but she's gone with me and done all that stuff. And, we've gone on fly fishing trips, and she's pulling out like 45-pound jack off fly rods. And I mean, like she'll go do it and have fun. Maybe she might be putting it on,
just be like, I'm doing this for him.
But at the same time, it's like, I tell this to all my buddies, it's like, hey, my wife, man, I really want to get into fly fishing. And I'm like, do you really though, man? It's like, because that's your thing, and then she's gonna be with you, and it's like, it might not be the same anymore, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like that can be the case sometimes. Like, sometimes right? It's your outlet, and it's separate, and it's a separate hobbies and whatnot. But I mean, I just wondered if she had the same sort of adventure, but like y'all go places together and.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of that. Adventure. And like, I mean, our kids and stuff. Like, my son is like, he was just like me as a kid, the epitome of someone just infatuated with outdoors and animals. Like, we're in the backyard catching snakes and bugs and lizards and like flipping up rocks, like literally like every single day looking for stuff. And that's how I started. And literally, I mean, that's like the chain of events that led me here and into geology and everything else was starting catching bugs in the backyard. Go out there and be like, look, Dad, it's a rough earth snake. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's sitting there holding a rough earth snake. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, glad you knew what that was, but let's not pick up snakes.
yeah, it can be kind of like, it's crazy when the lack of fear sometimes kids have.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen it go 2 different ways. Like you can kind of watch like all our kids' friends and stuff. You see them playing around, and one of them, there's this one kid. Usually they're scared of snakes or bugs. Like a lot of times they are. But then there's one kid that would just pick up every one of them. He didn't know what they were. He just went. He had no fear. Like, thing would bite him, it would hurt, and he would be like, "Oh, whatever. I'll still hold on to it." Like, I like this thing. This thing's cool.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look what I found, Mr. Joyner. I can't believe that. Like, you're 2 years old. You know, he's a little bitty, but and then he puts it down, moves on. You know, frogs. He was flipping up all the little water meters around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, looking for any sort of bug he could. And I was like, man, that kid has no fear for any sort of thing. Like, he's gonna do something. You know what I mean? You're gonna do something if you don't die before you get that far.
Have some anti-venom in the fridge.
Yeah. You might want to keep that on hand. Let's give it by. I don't know. We're going to the hospital immediately.
Yep. What it look like? I don't know.
But it's,
Hayes is a lot of that in him, and you know, I sort of feel this pressure to direct his interest in nature and the outdoors and adventure to get that to, you know, where he can succeed and do that stuff. Because I see a lot of my childhood ambition in him too, which is fun. And the same kind of time, like, you know, having Sendero and kids, it's just, you know, small business and the stress that comes with owning a small business, having a family and everything else. And then part of the reason, you know, sticking this through like we did and like we have, is like, you know, I really don't want to quit or you know, let that be, well, you know, what was Daddy doing when we lived in Waco, Mom? You know, like, that'd be a thing. It was like, oh, he had this company and then, you know, he stopped doing that. Like, I don't really want to ever say that to them. It was like, you know, we saw through to the end and we did the best we could.
I mean, knowing now, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but then you might have regretted it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You might have been like, man, what could I have been with that? Like, where could that have gone?
Like, there, you know, your mind goes some pretty dark places when you're in the middle of stuff, and it's like, if you start going through that too, or focusing on those things, it'll get you down quick. And the same time is, you know, using that as positive fuel for entrepreneurship and innovation, which, I mean, that's how the business world, small business, thrives and lives, is based off of risks and failed, and, you know, you learn from, if you fail 100 times, you succeed one time.
Isn't it worth it when you do that?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, man, bam, 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 and then that one, you're like, it just erased all of the 99 that went wrong. It was like, dude, I just knocked it out of the park. I don't even remember failing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
the lows are low, but the highs make you forget the lows. So
yeah, it's worth it.
Yep.
It's worth it. Like, I'm not a gambler at all with money. Like, I don't like gambling because I'm like, I don't see the fun in sitting there with the cards and like losing money on this game. Like, I'll maybe a sporting event I'm in or something I'm in, you know, that I have some sort of control over the outcome. But I look at that like, that's a waste of money. But at the same time, I'll go, this has got a shot. Like, I can probably do that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll roll the dice on this. Let's see if this will work. You know, like, and then like, oh shoot, it didn't work. Or, man, that worked. That little taste, even if it's the tiniest taste of success, it's like, it's all worth it.
Yeah, man, I'll be sitting here in meetings with our CPA, my current business partner. It'll be like, man, we can do this, and this, and then like, oh, if we just do this, like, that's gonna be this, and this, and that's gonna be a whole job someday, and then this, and this, and that's gonna be great. And he's just sitting there, just like shaking his head, like, yep, this is awesome, Hunter. This is great. And I'm like, I'm taking the world, dude. That's what I'm doing.
Is you need both people.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You have to have both people. Like, you can't just let a creative person like yourself go out there and just be like, run wild, because then you won't have any money.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh, where did it all go? You know,
for sure. Yeah, no joke. I'd be doing these Sendero session podcasts or vlogs or whatever we call them, like every single day. Just like, let's just sit here and just film ourselves in the van every day. Like a little live feed in there. Just like, Hunter's living in the van for a month and watch him on the internet.
You can watch him on the internet. You know what? That would probably make a lot of money.
That'd be pretty funny.
Hunter in the van.
Oh, that's where my wife's graciousness would end. But babe, it's gonna be awesome. Nope.
Not at all. All right, man. Well, is there anything that you like? Anything else you want to add in here? Like, I guess did we cover everything? I mean, that's the. I'm just super fascinated. I could go on forever talking business and stuff with you, like getting the mindset and whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, I could sit here and talk marketing strategy and content forever too. But that's who we are. That's Sendero in a nutshell right there.
I'm a fan.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, thanks a ton. I'm glad we can make this happen, man. It's been a little while coming, and like you said, doing this in person was the way to go. So
100%. I was glad you said yes. Like I always say it over the thing, like, I mean, it's fine over the internet or whatever, but I was glad you were adamant about getting in person because and obviously scheduling. You're a busy dude. You've got things going on. I'm a pretty busy guy with a family myself, so figuring out a time, and working it out. I was actually glad that we got to make this happen. It's kind of funny the way it all worked out too. I started with one date, and then you were like, "How about this date?" I was like, "Well, that works out perfect because now my son can play a tennis tournament, and I can go be there with him, and then come up here, and the family's making Christmas cookies. Like
nice.
This works out awesome.
You're gonna go home, and cookies are gonna be ready.
Yeah, except they won't have any. They're making it at somebody else's house. It's like a whole project.
All right.
They just make them, and then none of them come home.
Okay, there you go.
So but they get to go have fun. Like I don't feel bad or guilty, you know, about like missing out on something on a weekend, because you're real busy. But
my kids are snoozing, so it's great.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said. Like it's nap time.
Oh yeah, nap time is, man. When you got young kiddos, nap time is like the most precious time in the whole world.
I was the worst. I never took naps.
Yeah.
I wanted to be outside doing something all the time. Like I was outside from sunup to sundown. I gave my mom lots of gray hairs because I would just disappear when I was little. Like when I was little, I would just disappear. So I never took naps.
You're doing the same thing now. Look at you now.
I see the bags under my eyes.
Ducking up to Waco for an adventure for the day.
Like, hold on, I'm gonna go up there. All right, babe, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool,
But
man.
Where everybody find you on Instagram, Sendero?
Oh yeah, at Sendero PC, SenderoPC.com. If you just Google Sendero, it's gonna be like a financial institution in us, so you'll probably find us eventually.
If you're looking for hats, that's the way to go. Yeah. Not the other way. Financial institutions are probably not good at making hats.
Now, or I think there's also like a pesticide company called Sendero.
Really?
yeah. I don't know. Sendero's apparently a popular thing, but
they see it on that hat. They're like,
that's
ooh,
it.
that's a cool name for that company.
That's what it is. We started the trend of businesses named Sendero.
Yeah. The Facebook page, I guess the website, order stuff from you.
Yeah. Get on the website, and if you want to see us in a store, I've got our stores up on the website too, and pretty much in every state. So yeah.
Nice, man. Well, thanks, Hunter.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a blast, man. Let's do it again.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.